Name. Oh, hold on. I got drink water.
Hello and welcome to the Lost Rewatch. Yes, it's Everyone Loves Jack. You can always dream, right? But how's it going, guys? It's the three of us to talk about Happily Ever After and Everyone Loves Hugo. Except his mom. Does his mom love Hugo?
This isn't Down the Hatch. I was supposed to be on Down the Hatch this week.
Oh no!
Okay.
Sorry.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. You're stuck with us. So what's up? Everyone doing well?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, happy Hanukkah, everybody. It's Hanukkah. I got an act. So
do you start singing like Adam Sandler?
We already did that. We covered all those.
Oh, okay.
I tried to come up with new names for lost characters. I was going to do it for you, but it didn't go very well.
Matt would have done it. They'd have been terrible, but Matt would have done it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought we had two pretty good episodes.
When you give me the list of episodes, I say, "Oh, I don't know. Let me check." I'm not checking with family or anything. I'm checking to see what episodes they are.
Oh, you have requirements.
Obviously not. You made me do the one with Kate and the horse, so no, obviously I don't. But
that was what Kate did, right?
I guess it was the one with the horse. But yeah, it was what Kate did. I was very happy with these selection choices. I like these episodes. They're very integral to the plot, so I really did enjoy them.
What I liked about Happily Ever After, it was not so much a flashback, was it? Kind of was a flash sideways episode, or right?
Yeah,
would you say that?
There's very little, on island footage.
Right.
And in that tradition of Desmond episodes, it follows that
weird
kind of thing where it's because he is special and he is different. It's a different story, and you kind of know that's going to happen, and it's really, really enjoyable that way.
And his father-in-law still doesn't care if he dies or not.
Charles Widmore's not a nice man.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Desmond hitting him with the IV stand.
Yeah.
He had that long time coming. And sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, he mentions to Desmond, like, poor me. I've sacrificed. My
son died.
I don't see my daughter. I don't see my grandson. I'm like, you did that to yourself. So no love lost there.
It's funny you put that. I put poor Widmore, boo hoo.
Yeah. I mean, he did it.
You're an ass. You're just the biggest jerk in the world. So why your daughter doesn't want to see you because you're not a nice person.
Right.
You don't get to see your grandson because you're not a nice person.
Exactly.
In fact, you brought Desmond to the island, somewhere where he had been stuck for over 3 years.
Kidnapped.
And kidnapped and bring him against his will.
Yeah.
And you want sympathy?
Mm-hmm. It reminds me of, Eggtown, where Kate, no, not Eggtown. Well, maybe, yeah, that one. Where she tells her mom, I don't want my grandson anywhere near you, in reference to Aaron. And it's like, that's how Penny is. She doesn't want to be around him. Neither, does she want her child around him. So, especially not now after he's kidnapped Desmond.
Yeah, the only one that doesn't seem to care who's around their child is son, right?
I mean, seeing how it ends, I mean, they don't really care about that kid anyway. Let's face it.
Gian?
Gian. No one cares about Gian.
It doesn't seem like it, but that's
Juliet did. Let's get that clear.
Yes.
And I see all these people and all these little lost groups wanting to hate on Juliet for revealing the affair to Jen, but that saved son and her daughter's life. So I don't want to hear it.
Now, if Juliet wouldn't have died, would she have taken Ji Young and raised it as her own?
Oh, what a beautiful question. I've never heard that asked before.
I just thought about it because it's almost like Kate and Aaron.
Oh, my. I mean, I don't know. I feel like, I mean, a lot of things would have had to be different. I mean, Juliet would have had to probably have gotten rescued along with the Oceanic Six, because if not, Kate would have probably just taken care of her because they knew each other, back after they got rescued.
But like you said, though, Ji-young doesn't survive if Juliet doesn't expose. So would Sun and Jin have gone, okay, we want Juliet to take care of her if anything happens to us?
It's possible. Surely they would have gained her trust by then.
But she died. And Jack even admits in the second episode that he is responsible for Juliet's death.
Yes.
In the second episode we're going to watch, I had a question about the first episode. What is it, Happily Ever After?
Yes.
That just came to mind. That's why I was scrambling for paper, because questions come up as we're talking. And when do you guys think Charles Widmore realized he needed Desmond to come back to the island in their history? Because Eloise has this whole history. She knows everything that's going to happen. So she plays with Daniel Faraday the whole time. So at some point, isn't this jerk supposed to realize he's supposed to be nice to Desmond because he's going to need him in the future to bring him to the island?
Well, that's not how he operates. He does it by force. He does it by power. He has money, so that's power. So that's just how he does it. He was never going to ask Desmond to come back, because I don't think Desmond would have come back to the island.
Of course, Desmond wouldn't have come back to the island. I'm just saying, like, when do you think Charles realized that he would need Desmond? And did he need Desmond? What is his plan with Desmond?
I thought he said that Jacob told him. I thought he was like, Jacob came to me himself and told me to, come here.
To Charles?
Or does that? Yeah, Charles said that. Or is that in another future episode where he's talking to Ben?
Oh, I don't remember.
I thought Jacob sent him.
Okay, fair enough.
I would think it would be Eloise, though, because, like I said, she knows everything.
Maybe, I wouldn't be surprised at all if he passed off ideas he got from Eloise as Jacob.
Yeah, and you think with Charles having the money he has, they could get better equipment? I mean, all that equipment looked like it was from the original Dharma Initiative. When they're hitting the switches and stuff.
Yeah.
If it's that important of a test, I would have better equipment. That's just me.
You got to get it over there. You got to get people that know what they're doing, and not a guy that's going to flip a switch when the guy's in the radiation thing already.
No, don't do that. And Charles seemed pretty upset the guy died. Get him out of here.
Yeah. It was a big Dr. Manhattan situation there.
So you think they did that scene to show that Desmond could die?
One of the side effects of doing that was death. Yes.
Yeah, because at this point, since Charlie's death, people have been dying. Our Lossie's been dying left and right. So I remember at the time going, well, is Desmond going to die? Is Charles going to say, oh, well, I'll have to tell Penny that he ran away from you. He's a coward, remember?
I think it's a fan favorite at that point. I don't see them, killing him off. But plus, what happens later. But
so you're saying Juliet is not a fan favorite?
No, I'm saying so many fan favorites already died at that point. They couldn't do another one. I knew I should have clarified that. I had that sentence ready to go, and yeah.
Diane said, "Did maybe Woodmore said Jacob visited him when he was talking to Locke to recruit him to get everybody back? Maybe that's what it was. He did talk to Locke, didn't he?
Yeah, maybe that's when it was. Yeah, Jacob came to me himself. I just remember him saying that.
but would Jacob really go to Widmore?
Well, that's the thing. It's like,
yeah, we're not dealing with a really reliable narrator here.
No.
Like, the only one I believe that had training with Jacob was Alana.
Yeah.
To make her a true believer. I don't think he wasted his time on Bram. I think he
Seamus or whatever. And
yeah. I think the only one he actually talked to was probably Alana. Gave her
There was
some
a
Jedi training.
There was a scene I really liked. It's just a small little blip of a, it's not important to the whole show. It's just how detailed the Lost writers and producers are. When George picks up Desmond and he's asking, hey, do you want any lady companionship? I noticed there was no ring. If you watch the scene when Desmond looks at his phone, George looks at his hand. Now, my first thought was you're reading his messages, but then I forgot. He asked him about, I didn't see a ring on your finger. So he literally looks. He does look at his hand to see if there's a ring on his finger. Again, it's not an important scene. It doesn't mean anything to the whole plot of Lost. But I go, that's how detailed the writers and the actors. I mean, I don't know if the actor, if he had said, no. If I'm going to say that, I need to look down and I don't know who came up with it, but it was fantastic. He does look at his hand when when Desmond has the BlackBerry out.
Now does George know where he is? You think?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay.
George Minkowski.
After we get finished talking about both episodes, we are going to need to have a little discussion about who we think was the first person to be awake in the Flash Sideways, because we've got people popping up left and right over here who act like they know what's going on.
Yeah, because you have Desmond in contact with all the Losties, right?
Mm-hmm. Charlie acts like he's familiar with something,
Well, we're kind of bearing lead here. This is like the big episode, right? This is like the first time. Isn't this the first time?
Yes.
Like that there's some kind of awakenings happening in the Flash Sideways, like big ones.
Well, you had Kate was remembering things with Jack,
right?
But
yeah, they've all been looking at each other really, strangely, but not.
It hasn't clicked. This is where Desmond is putting two and two together, and he's bringing them together to, when we'll talk about it later on. But then when Desmond picks up Charlie says, "You ever been in love? You ever really been in love?"
Well, that's the thing, and I was going to ask about this. I mean, so is one thing is is this kind of love that he sees when he sees Claire? Is this the only thing he can compare to is being out of his brain on heroin at the time? That kind of thing, and he comes out of it and he sees her, but then he's sucked back out of it by this jerk who is Jack on the plane. You know what I mean?
The jerk that saved his life, yeah.
So on one side, he's talking like a drug-addled person, peace and love, and have you ever been in love, and all that kind of stuff, and we're all connected and everything, and I saw the grass breathe and whatever. But also, he believes enough in it to drive off the marina dock.
Yeah.
And
now, when they were showing the marina, they made a point of showing the marina. Now, were they showing us to show that Charlie was going to steer the car into the water, or that was Desmond's with Penny? That famous picture of Penny and Desmond.
Oh,
I go, because I was obviously the finger thing. I looked for that. I always look for things, especially now that I've seen the show enough times. I go, okay, why are they showing us that scene? Because it could have been for two reasons. It could have been the show that Charlie could steer the car into the water, or that was where he didn't know who Penny was. He wasn't clicking with Penny yet.
Exactly.
So was that why they were showing it? But I guess we'll never know.
I think it's truly just to make that connection to the audience that you're supposed to see something here with the hand on the glass.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be the first big, and I think I've heard Damon talk about that in that last Collider interview, where they were saying that, halfway through, we really wanted to start to get the point across that this was happening elsewhere, which didn't.
Because it said not Penny's car, right?
Right.
But Desmond starts to remember. But I do like, there's two dudes sitting on a boat, one of the big yachts there. When the car crashes in, they stand up, they look, literally do nothing to help. When Desmond gets Charlie finally out of the water, he's getting to sight, they're still sitting there. I think one of them has out their phone. I go one. I mean, you don't. Okay, maybe you can't swim. You couldn't run over to the edge of the dock and pull them out. I get it. It wasn't in the script, but I would hope that if a car crashed in the water and you saw one guy out, there's still a guy down there. If I could swim, I would hope I would jump in and try it to save.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe he was taking off his shoes.
That could have been, yeah. But on the island, you swim in your jeans, so I don't know.
I thought it was really interesting that Charlie tells Desmond, "None of this matters." Talking about this, and that's exactly what Desmond says to Jack in the finale about being on island.
Right. David asked, "Did Charlie wake up when he almost died on the plane?"
It's
yeah, because he was mad that Jack saved him.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it was interesting, that Charlie's, this flash sideways, he's saying none of this matters, and then later in the finale, Desmond, after seeing, the flash sideways, tells Jack, "Well, none of this matters about the island," and I'm like, so what are they trying to say? What matters? What?
Yeah, no, I had a thought, but it left.
I mean, why would they do that? It doesn't make sense.
Well, that's Lost.
That's the sixth season of Lost. That's the Sideways. That's the issue with the Sideways. If Charlie dies in Jack's purgatory, what happened on the plane? What happens to Charlie?
Yeah.
Does he die and wake up on the plane anyway because he's already in Jack's purgatory? Because that's
shouldn't Charlie have died anyway? Because wasn't Charlie in the front of the plane?
Well, he was in the back, wasn't he? Yeah.
He ended up being He moved seats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't. It's the sixth season, man. It's got all sorts of contradictions and things trying to
I think they were like tripping over themselves trying to answer questions and then went too far. I don't know, like the whispers and stuff.
Well, that's true, but I do like when Desmond's getting the MRI.
Yes, and he has to press the button.
He goes, "What'd you say, brother?" Press the button, because if you've ever had an MRI, they have different machines. They have ones that are wide open, and they have ones that are tight like that. I've done them both. The tight ones. Yeah, I almost pressed the button one time because I was in there for like 40 minutes. But he's starting to remember Penny, right? When he's in the
I mean, the first thing is the Penny's boat with the hand, and then he has the MRI, and he bumps on the word button, and then the MRI blasts him with radiation again, and so slowly, this is strong in people. They really have to be pulled out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Diane said something interesting.
Desmond was wrong about the island. He thought the Sideways was a real place that they would go to once they pulled the cork. And when it didn't happen, he was dismayed.
Yeah, that's what I think. That's what happened. I think that he got confused, and that's what is a little worrisome, because for the rest of the series he acts like on island, nothing matters, I'm completely neutral, throw me in a whale, do with me what have you, Rose and Bernard, at least let them live, and it's just like you have a wife and a kid that you need to come home to. Have you forgot about them? Was he so like believing that what had happened to him until the very end? I mean, we never see him contemplate that afterwards because the show ends, but
he really becomes all-knowing in this episode.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe he doesn't even have certainty about stuff, and when he pulls the cork out, then he goes.
Well, is it fair to him though, because he's had all that electricity, magnesium pull,
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's really off, almost like what happened brainwashed him to think that reality was the actual one, and the one he's in now is wrong. So that's a little dangerous,
Was Widmore doing it so he would forget about Penny?
Hell, probably. He's so evil.
Because it makes no sense. You had to come back to save Penny and everybody. Why? Penny wasn't on the island.
Well, because if the court's open, the smoke monster leaves and every death, destruction to everybody.
So the first thing he's going to do is go after Penny.
Yep.
And little Charlie.
Ben did. I think that put a little oomph underneath, Widmore's feet there. After Ben, he found out.
I thought it was interesting when Jack and Desmond see each other, and he goes, "Oh yeah, you were on the plane sitting next to me, yeah. Oh, it's supposed to, and then Jack, it's supposed to be a coincidence." I thought that was pretty good. And then you have then Charlie's running around. Nobody can catch Charlie because he's the fastest guy in the world. Right, he's running through the whole hospital.
That's what you always hear. The heroin addicts are the ones that can run really, really, really fast.
Well, he's a fast runner.
Yeah.
But then Charles says, "Okay, you have to go tell my wife that Drive Shaft will not be at." And who's his wife? Eloise Hawkins.
And a peach of a lady she is.
Yeah. Well, she didn't seem to. She was cool with Desmond.
Oh, she was very nice. She was all in her element, really excited. Everything was going her way. She's deserving of what she's got.
Butter knife. You got to put the butter knife in the correct spot.
She was nervous when she first saw him, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He'd been trying for a long time in that place they made to not see Desmond, and then when he acted like he didn't know he didn't know anything. She got all happy and started to act like, Mrs. Whitmore until he overhears Penny, the name Penny. And then she stupidly goes in there and flips out and tells him to stop doing what he's doing. Like that's going to work. Like that's not going to make him want to do it more.
It worked the first time though with the ring. So you got to give her credit.
Yeah.
It did. He couldn't save Charlie. But she tells him, Desmond, he's not ready yet.
But obviously he is. She's the one who's not ready yet.
And then who do we see when Desmond's in the car?
Faraday. Yeah.
In his sweet, sweet jazz hat.
Technically, Daniel Widmore.
Daniel Widmore.
Right. His mom hasn't shot him this time, right?
No, she's getting her time back,
Yeah.
She knows she's dead. She knows he's dead, but she doesn't care. She's just getting her time back.
Yeah.
I do like that we find out Penny is Faraday's half sister. And I can tell you where she's going to be because, that's where I send all the stalkers to.
And
I
don't know you at all.
Because I have a half sister and I know where she is every second of every day.
Well, he writes down that he's not a quantum physics, but he was able to write down in his book. He wrote all that information down. So I thought that was interesting. And then we go back. And Penny's running the stairs because it's Hawaii because that's obviously Aloha Stadium. And I've said this every time someone's running in there. Is there any stadium out there that people can just go and run in?
I mean, maybe there was before 2001.
I don't think you can go inside a stadium and do anything.
If you know a guy, I
guess you have to be on Lost to know somebody. I know I'm nitpicking here, but it's just like, come on. Every time I see it, and it's always in the dark.
I've always found it really interesting that Daniel Faraday was the one who had the brain to put it together. That what if something already happened, and this is the second thing that's
right?
Isn't it because he saw Charlotte?
Mm-hmm.
So she's really the most important character in the whole show.
Her blue eyes, her red hair. It was love at first sight.
She was eating a chocolate bar. It's like, we get it. We know who she is.
You were like 35, 40. She was 6. Okay.
We get it. Scared her half to death.
we get it, Desmond. We get it, Faraday. But then we go back and Desmond wakes up. He passed out with Penny because they're going to go have coffee. So he finally gets the love of his life, and he passes out. And what happens? He wakes up back in that box. And who's the actor? He was in was it Too Close? What he was in a show. The other scientist guy that he was afraid to pull the lever at first. He goes running in there with a gun, a rifle. Now, either Desmond's going to be dead, or he's not going to be in shape to attack them. Right? Why did he need the rifle? My nitpicking is that
You always got to go in protecting yourself, I guess.
Yeah, and he already, well, I don't know if he saw Desmond do it, but he knows probably Desmond attacked Widmore, and Widmore probably knows Desmond could come out angry as hell, and you
have Desmond's, you have Widmore's goons there, couldn't they protect him? I don't know. And he was only out for 20 seconds, but it's almost like a dream, because don't they say dreams are only like multiple? It's like 30 seconds. Don't they say that?
I don't know.
It reminded me of Contact. That 18 minutes that's missing from the film. She was forget it.
You mean the Watergate?
No.
Is anyone in the chat know? Diane, you're pretty smart. Do you know anyway, and then Saeed comes out. I forgot about Saeed. I completely forgot Saeed. And then all of a sudden, Buddy jumps up, he snaps the neck, and tells Zoe, "I would run."
He should have just shot her.
It would have saved all of us a bunch of trouble.
Like, just shoot her.
Yeah.
Then we go back to Desmond. Desmond wants the manifest from Flight 815.
But just the passengers.
Yeah, just the passengers. But George looked like he knew what he was supposed. Someone asked a question earlier. Did he know what was going on? I think it was you, Ethan.
Yeah.
Oh, Diane doesn't know. Thanks, Diane.
For nothing. Thanks for nothing.
But Ethan, you said, does George know what's going on? I didn't really think that until he goes, oh, okay, yeah, I can get you the manifest. Like, he knew what was going on.
There's a little knowingness to him. And that's the thing. It's like later on in the final, I don't know if it's the final, but Bernard, is the dentist who's all smiling, giving, I guess, Jack the information. Like, he knows something.
Right.
That's in the lot house, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think.
Yeah, so just this episode, not considering the next one, who do you think knows at this point? Who is aware? Eloise for sure.
Yeah.
Eloise for sure.
I don't think Charles knows.
Desmond is clear. I think Faraday knows.
Yeah, Desmond knows now. Well, no, I think once again it goes back to what Diane said. I don't think Desmond knows that it's afterlife.
He knows something's going on.
Right.
I think he has to know more than that when he runs over, by the time he talks to Linus and runs over John Locke, he has to know.
Well, he does know. He knows something because he gets. We'll get that to the next episode. But what was I going to say? Damn it.
So there's Eloise, and then you'll say Desmond, and then
Desmond knows there's something not right. Well, Desmond should have known something was going on when Widmore offered him the McCutcheons.
Yeah, but who's like fully aware other than Eloise?
Jack doesn't know at this point, and before the next episode. Yeah,
Faraday.
I would say Faraday knows something.
They're all middle. I really do think by the time Desmond runs over John, he knows fully.
And I think that George, I think he does know something, just because the way he acted.
Yeah. What about Rose and Bernard as early as the first episode of this season?
They know everything.
You think they already know too, like Eloise?
Well, it came in the Dharma handbook.
Yeah, exactly. It's experience from working with Dharma.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't remember what her interactions were. Was it getting John Locke a job or somebody a job?
It was getting John Locke a job, I believe.
Yeah. But she was talking about how she was a cancer patient or survivor in that episode.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I don't really know. If I did know, I'd be pissed off that I'm sitting around here waiting for Jack to wake the F up to go where
Well, we do have to do that.
you know what I mean?
Yeah. So Eloise and maybe Faraday somewhat,
Yeah.
maybe Desmond somewhat, but not fully.
No.
Rose and Bernard, it's possible, probable.
Penny doesn't know anything at this point.
Uh-uh.
No. It didn't click when it didn't click with her like it did with Desmond. Like I said, Widmore we believe doesn't know anything.
And so, yeah, this is kind of like you said, really the beginning of the flashes, and it's really that's when it really picks up, and it's really starts to get interesting. And I think, if I can just say something about the next episode, about how, Libby says she just saw Hurley on TV, and that's all it took for her. And she knew everything.
Right.
So it really makes me wonder because, Jack has to his Locke, and then his dad and Kate, and, Kate had Aaron, and Jack, these, specific flashes. So I thought it was really interesting that in a world where Libby is seen as insane, she's really the sanest and is aware of the past life as probably Eloise is.
Well, she's there because she's self-admitted into the
right. Yeah. Well, right, because at first she thinks she's crazy, and so does everybody. So, but once that's validated for her, then it's a different story. But
yeah, she's questioning herself she's questioning herself and her sanity at that point too, because if she thinks she's crazy and then she starts remembering all this past experience, she would probably think to herself it's a symptom of the same problem that she has.
And they do a good. You want to go to the next episode? Everybody loves Hugo.
I mean, the last one ended with Saeed popping up in the water, and that was it, right? Desmond and Penny. Well, we mentioned the stadium and how they were planning to get a cup of coffee.
Yeah. She had to go and change.
Yeah.
Now, David Riggin says Charlie knows he knows because he's talking about some girl. I think a lot of people are in this kind of like weird limbo of knowing something very strongly, but not being able to put their finger on it. And I think after the glass touching incident with Charlie, that probably would have pushed him over the edge if he wasn't still trying to get effed up all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think Eloise is the only one who 100% knows what's going on. She's known for this whole show, but yeah.
I would agree.
Yeah, Jack, this guy in the background I put here for you, he knows.
I can't see it.
It's Joe Lasso.
It's Ted Lasso. It's Ted Lasso.
Thing is,
Ted Lasso,
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So do we like Happily Ever After? Good episode, great episode.
Yeah, man. Desmond has good episodes. I don't know if Desmond has bad episodes. I don't know.
Now, does anyone, when Desmond was first brought on the scene, he's the guy in the hatch, then he runs away and we don't see him forever. Is it because the fans, I mean, obviously they didn't have everything planned out because it's like even Ben was only supposed to spend 6 episodes and became a major character. Desmond, same way, he became one of the most, especially in season 6, one of the most important characters down the stretch. So I don't remember his backstory.
Well, I think they dropped people in to see if they work. And I think they saw that Desmond worked really well, but he worked really well in that season as a bookend. You know what I mean?
Right.
You see him at the beginning, you see him at the end.
Mm-hmm.
But they brought him in. He was full time season 3, right?
Yeah.
He wasn't in season 5 a lot though at all.
No.
He had one episode.
Well, because he was off. Like he had gotten off. He went and had a baby, and they really wrapped him up nicely with Penny, when they got on the boat together.
They could have ended his story there, honestly.
Yeah.
It's great they brought him back though. But I know that they were looking at Elizabeth Mitchell for specifically for Juliet before anything. So I know that she was planned to be there a while because they had her specifically in mind for that role.
Well,
But
she was
not too long, right?
Well,
Not
she had a pretty big name. She was a pretty big name.
Yeah, because she was coming off of Santa Claus 2 and 3 and all that.
Yeah. Not that Michael Emerson and Henry and Kuzak aren't great actors, but I didn't know who they were when they joined the show.
Yeah, right. They're fairly unknown as compared to her anyway.
Right.
Gia, that was one of my favorites. Very memorable for me.
I'm sure.
Wasn't she on ER?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was. She played Dr. Lebowski. I was actually in the middle of trying to retweet her whole storyline to Caleb, but after a while I felt like he didn't think it was funny. So I stopped, but I was going to give him updates every day because I was just watching ER again.
Oh my gosh. Well, I know she's a lesbian in the show, I think. Is that right?
The whole point was Carrie Weaver coming out.
Which I never saw the two of them together.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I never saw the two of them because Carrie's just not a nice person.
But every day I was watching, I was like, I should tweet this to Caleb. This part was like, I'm like, he probably thinks that's going to be dumb. So
I love her story. I love her story arc in The Expanse.
It's great, and I don't think she's back, but I wish she would be.
I still haven't seen that yet, but yeah, in time, I got a lot of shows to watch, and I'm just getting around to it.
She'll be on Outer Banks season 2. I don't know if y'all watch that, but
no,
I don't go to. I don't watch shows about places I've been.
Well, I just watched Alabama Snake on HBO, that documentary, kind of based on that book, Salvation on Sand Mountain by Dennis Covington. And I'm from Sand Mountain. That's where my parents live. And it's really tough watching things, especially when they're real, about where you live.
Is it about snakes?
A snake handling preacher, who
okay.
supposedly forces his wife to put her hand in this pit and get bit. He tried to kill her. Yeah,
I have something to add to that after we talk about Lost.
You should watch that. But side note, talking about things filmed where you're at. Yeah,
I'm not a fan of snakes, so I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not trouble with Indiana Jones. Anyway, next up we go to Everybody Loves Hugo, and what I think they did a great job here is they really showed that most people would know who Hurley was. So when Libby sees him, she could have just saw him on TV until, as the story goes on, she does know who he is. But I love her. Hurley's mom is not in a lot of episodes, but the actress that plays her is fantastic. You need a woman. She smacks him. Because we're going to go to another award show. Oh, great. She's just like, she doesn't want to do it anymore.
I don't buy it. I don't buy that there aren't women flinging themselves at Hugo due to his financial situation. I just don't get it.
Well, I think that, but he doesn't, if he's standoffish, I mean,
That's true.
They can fling all they want, and he's got to,
And Rosita, was it Rosita or Rosalita? Rosita, who he was supposed to go on a blind date with, but never showed up?
Never showed up, right.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of a similar situation to Sawyer. Miles is like, Sawyer, when are you going to find a girl? I'm trying to set you up on a date, blah, 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 blah. But Sawyer's still focused on, the Anthony Cooper or the, who killed his parents. And then whereas Hurley now, instead of, for him, he's dealing with all this press, from the lottery and his chicken chain and, all this. So he's kind of got his own thing going on, whereas Sawyer had his tunnel vision focus on that. So I feel like they both were thinking of other things, and, for some reason, love or whatever is not on their brain, and it has to be, pricked to even kind of get that spark going for the awakenings.
And then we finally find out what the whispers are. They're Michael.
They're Michael.
They're not
all of them. They're all Michael.
Hurley, I like this scene with Hurley and Libby. He said, people come to visit me, and you don't come to visit me. You don't come to talk to me. But, he talks to Anna Lucia. Libby talks to Anna Lucia, but not Hurley. Why won't Libby talk to Hurley?
It's probably too painful. She wants him to move on. She's one of the kindest survivors on the show, castaways. So I think that's why. That's my answer.
She already moved on.
Who?
Libby. I mean, she's maybe she's at the church already waiting for Hurley to show. I guess she didn't move on.
That's what I'm saying. She's known for such a long time. I mean, maybe that's you're onto something. She doesn't speak to him because she's already so far progressed that she thinks she's crazy in this world, even though everything she's thinking is true. So
Right.
maybe that's the hindrance there.
Yeah, I mean it sounds like she gets confirmation when she kisses Hurley and he starts to remember.
Right.
So this is the first time that Hurley and Michael come face to face since Michael killed Libby and Ana Lucia, right?
Yeah.
You got to give Hurley credit for not wanting to. I mean, I guess he couldn't do anything to him anyway, but he handles it pretty well.
I mean, after Michael said, "Tell her I'm sorry." If I were Hurley, I'd have been like,
Well, yeah, whatever.
Go F yourself, basically.
Yeah, I mean, so like, is it fan service or what's happening here about the whispers? Like, why? Who finds it necessary for an explanation? I did not. Did you need an explanation?
I did not, and I didn't really necessarily like because I've never. Yeah, Michael did a terrible thing.
Mm-hmm.
But any more terrible? Who is more terrible? Ben Widmore?
Exactly. So who else is a freaking whisperer? Ben's not.
Yeah, I mean what he did again. You can kind of say, okay, he did it for his son. His son needed a father, and he did feel guilty about it. So why does he get stuck on the island?
Well, killing people's bad, but I think like the ultimate long range sin is telling his son about it, and making him live with that.
I get that, but you got Saeed. I love Saeed. How many people? Who killed more people than Saeed on this show?
Exactly.
Nobody.
Yeah. So,
well,
I mean, if you want, see, this is where so like Ben, he went on and supposedly like redeemed himself because he was, number 2 on the island, blah, blah, blah. So some people could potentially say, well, he's in the sideways because he redeemed himself and did all this good after doing all this bad. Okay. So does that mean that somebody like Michael and Saeed or whoever who has their life cut short, I mean, as short as you can be at their age, does that mean that they just are a whisper and they don't have a chance at redemption? How is that fair?
Right.
So I'm like, why is he stuck and why is other people not stuck?
Well, I think people like Saeed, who died in the vicinity of the island, on enough to stay on the island, like Michael on the boat, but still in the vicinity of the island, to get stuck there as a whisper. I believe Hurley helped those people later on, and they were able to go.
You also have that Walt was on the working with Hurley, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So was Michael there so he could communicate with Walt?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, totally. Like if he's stuck there as a whisper, and we all know that Walt's coming back, I'm sure that's gonna happen.
Diane says, I think Michael was stuck on the island because he couldn't forgive himself. Perhaps it's a coincidence of actually stronger than someone like Ben actually kept him stuck. I mean, that could be it, but I mean, they never answered. But like, I'm like Caleb, they could have gone the whole time with not explaining the whispers. It could have just been something the island was doing,
And they really went out of their way to say Michael was a whisper to explain Michael, but they put everybody else in there with the explanation.
It was literally like a side quest, and I don't play games, but It was literally like, okay, we're trekking through the woods. Oh, here's Michael. Thanks for the answers for the whispers. Okay, let's continue on. That was what happened.
I mean, he did tell him, tell Hurley, okay, hey, people are going to die. Don't blow things up. I'm here to save you. People are going to die. I mean, there should have been some redemption there. I mean, the whole freighter, everything that's going on. I never liked the way they handled Michael's character.
I mean, him going back to the island on the freighter basically to die, is that not enough of forgiving yourself and sacrificing yourself to help those that you've hurt?
And why
it doesn't make sense that he's a whisperer, but yeah.
And why do you see Christian Shepherd on the freighter? Never been answered. I don't know. Anyway, we're at the restaurant.
Because the smoke monster, right? I mean, the smoke monster was just like, "You're done here. Thanks. Bye."
Yeah, but how did he get to the boat? He can't. I thought he couldn't get on the water. He couldn't go across water.
Doesn't he get to Hydra Island?
Yeah, on a boat.
Can't Smokey get to Hydra Island?
He has to use an outrigger like everybody else.
I thought there was like I really just always thought like the area of the island that disappears is like a snow globe dome, and if you're within that, it counts as the island. And
I thought
we're in that.
Sawyer was like, "Just get him in the water. I'll take care of the rest." And it's like that didn't harm him, because up until that point we weren't sure about the water, because there was a comment made about like he can't fly to and there. But I don't know if he said that or if Sawyer said that, and Sawyer may not have known all of it.
He said something. It was the last episodes before. He said, because Sawyer said, "Well, can't you just?" He goes, "If I could do that, wouldn't I just leave the island?" So
well, yeah, I mean, but there's a difference in leaving and going on to the freighter. That's
That's
what
I think.
I'll do the whole bubble thing.
Wait a minute. Wasn't the freighter out of the bubble?
Was it
It
out
was
of the
out
bubble?
of the bubble. It was out of the bubble because the smoke disappeared when Juliet and Sawyer were on the beach.
Well, it couldn't have been out of the bubble because Jin made it.
Yeah, but he was just thrown back in the bubble.
No, but yeah, Did they see the explosion and the crash from the island?
No, they saw smoke.
They saw smoke. If they saw smoke, I think the boat was in the bubble at the time of the explosion.
Oh, did they see?
They definitely saw smoke. And
Yes. I'm thinking of the Flash. The after the bloop.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking of. They were looking at the smoke, and then the island disappeared. And
are we in season 6? What's going on?
What?
Are we in season 6? What are we talking about?
Well, we're trying to figure things out.
Okay.
The smoke monster and Michael and being a whisper and the unansweredness of all of that.
But I do like the fact he says that now Hurley is, people are listening to you now. So stop, be careful what you say, because people are listening to you. I don't know why. I don't know why after he gets that advice, he goes right to lying about seeing Jacob, but he does.
Well, he wanted. Well, we'll get to that when we get there.
Yeah.
I do like the scene in the restaurant because he's eating the homemade tortilla chips, because those can we all agree those are the best chips?
Yeah.
Get a thing of salsa, and like I said, every time I see one of those, someone eating chips in a Mexican restaurant like that on TV, I want to go have the chips. I always got to stop myself. I got to stop. I'm gonna eat too much here, and I won't be able to eat the main course because I just sit there and salsa, chip.
Self-control. What's that like?
I don't have it.
Okay.
But I do like that the waiter comes over to take the silverware and stuff. He goes, "No, don't take that. I'm just still waiting for my date." And the guy's like, "Yeah, whatever."
How long was he there for, though?
It seemed like a while.
A couple hours.
But that's when Libby shows up and says Hurley, right? Or Hugo. Did she call him Hurley or Hugo?
I don't remember.
She said Hugo?
I think she said Hugo. I think she said Hugo. Yep.
And he goes, "Oh, you're my date." He goes, "Oh, wow. Mom did well."
I didn't know you would be this pretty.
Yeah, exactly what he said. But she knows who he is. She knows.
Well, she saw him on television too.
Right.
Yeah.
But still, but she knows. So we can confirm that on the last one we were saying who knows. She now knows, right?
I think she knows for sure after they kiss.
Yeah, well, definitely after they kissed.
Yeah.
But then
I think it was verified. I think her situation is a little different because I think her flash or whatever was for Hurley. I see. I'm not sure she remembered during that flash. I think Hurley remembered, and she was reacting to his remembering because she was like, "You remember now?" He's like, "I think I do." So I think she fully knows.
Yeah, I thought she already knew before that.
Yeah, I think she knows. That wake up was one-sided.
But it was confirmed in her own brain when he remembered because
at this point she doesn't know if she's crazy or not. Right? Yeah, she's like, "You don't remember me? Look at me. You don't remember me?" Maybe she held 2 blankets up. Maybe by
she already did that on the freighter.
That's true. So Dr. Brooks steps in and say, "Oh, we're sorry, we're bugging you here, you know." And then he goes out and he sees her and all that different stuff. And he's intrigued by it, but he still doesn't, it's not clicking though, who she is. And then we have Alana, you know, I liked Alana's character. I liked her a lot. The actress is really nice. She's a nice person.
Are you saying things are good and nice because you met the person in real life?
I did meet her in real life, and she's a nice person. But
I'm sure she is.
Would she really have been throwing water bottles in the bag with the dynamite and then slam the bag on the ground?
I mean, she was trained by Jacob, so you know.
That's true. I go, oh, all right, that's right. This is where she blows up.
Yeah.
They gave you a little orange redux.
Yeah.
I do want to say that this episode is probably in my top 20, absolutely for sure, if not edging into the top 10. I think it's incredible.
Do we see Juliet anywhere?
No, and that she's only mentioned in the show. I understand this is, but the writing in this episode in the dialogue to me is extraordinary. I love when Libby says, you know, to Hurley, can 2 people be connected like soulmates? You know, she's really trying to find these answers here. And there are just a ton of quotes throughout. You know, you mentioned Alana and, you know, Ben's comment about the island, you know, being done with her, and he's wondering what'll happen with them when the island's done with them. Perfect line. Perfect. And there's several more instances. I'll point them out as you go along. But I did want to point out that that's one of the main reasons why I really do enjoy this episode, because I feel like it has that extra bit of, you know, lost to it.
Was Alana just distracted because she was having a conversation back and forth with Hurley?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I liked her character. I feel like more could have been done with her character. Mm-hmm. The way she went out was kind of like, how much shock and awe are we kind of going for here? You know what I mean? And we are, right. And that's what I wrote in my notes. I was like, so many things are blowing up and like explosives this season. It's even with the dynamite. There's like 3 or 4 instances. Right. With the dynamite and then other bombs.
That's why Hurley says we got to, that's fragile stuff. You can't just, she goes, I know. But, did they have to get the plane not to fly? Couldn't they just burn the cockpit and just set it on fire and destroyed all the wires, pulled everything out? Why did you don't have to destroy the whole plane.
Yeah, couldn't they have taken the air out of the tires of the plane? Could have been.
Could have done that. That would, I'm sure they have.
But no, yeah.
I think I said that the first time I watched it. I go, why not just go in there and cut all the wires, rip the equipment out, set it on fire? They're not going to be able to fix that thing to get to fly. You don't need dynamite. Now, like you're saying, Caleb, was to show Alana blowing up.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, we could have exploited Dirty Liz Lemon. I forgot her name, Zoe. We could have exploited her. It would have been just as funny.
Yeah.
And used Alana for more.
Zoe, is that?
What was her name? I forgot her name.
Zoe.
Yeah.
Zoe.
She could have exploded up with it.
Yeah.
But had Alana used that particular dynamite before, to know that it was that
Yeah.
unstable?
Had she just gone out there by herself?
Well, she went to go get it by herself.
Okay. Well, yeah,
I mean, gosh, and it was kind of like I didn't really like it because there's just been this episode about Ben, and she was like, I'll have you, and there was that amazing scene,
sure.
and it really made you be like, oh, she's really accepting. She's she
Right.
will like, she's for the good, and then for this to happen, it was like, could she have not just like survived on the plane too with everybody? Why?
I mean, she
her blind
sacrificed.
faith in Jacob got her killed.
Like everybody.
Yeah, like she said, Jacob said, we have to do what Richard says. Richard will know exactly what to do. And Richard's out of his mind at this point.
Yeah.
Right. But we got to follow Richard no matter what. And, she got, yo.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. But again, there were so many ways they could have destroyed you could have broken all the windows, right? They can't fly with the windows.
Yeah.
Frank Lapidus can fly anything, and that's what they do.
I don't know. It's always bothered me because I would the first one to say, why do we need dynamite? Let's just go over there.
I mean,
crap out of all the equipment, damage it, slam it. We got guns. We can shoot it, burn it on fire.
It was a lame.
They also wanted to kill another character on the show, which is the Black Rock. It's this big thing that's always there. It's always got dynamite.
Yeah,
I get that, but anyway.
I mean, it was a lame ending for her. They'd already had a death like that before that was effective and startled viewers. So why do it again?
And it was a character I think a lot of people liked.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I liked her. I didn't like the idea of Jacob's soldiers.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question because I don't remember. Because I'm sure we find out the answer later. Is what is in that bag Hugo finds? Is it the black and white stones or is it ashes? What?
Jacob's ashes.
Jacob's ashes. That's what it is. Okay.
Yeah.
I just wasn't sure.
And I read on Lostpedia in like the trivia section or whatever that apparently on some podcasts, was it yours? I can't remember what it says, but it said that Jorge Garcia had revealed that that scene of him getting the ashes was a pickup scene when they were filming What They Died For. So I was like, I bet they got to What They Died For, and then Jacob was like, or Hurley was like, here's ashes, or Jacob was like, put my ashes in the fire, and then somebody was like, where'd these ashes come from? How did they get them from Alana? We just blew her up. And they're like, we need to show a scene of somebody getting the ashes. That's what I think happened. But
I'm not 100% sure. I don't remember. I do remember that. That's why that scene. I do remember it was filmed differently
later. Yeah.
I
do really like this whole, Jack showing his faith in Hugo. Like every time that happens in this episode, it makes me well up a little bit inside. I get a little verklempt,
And Jack doesn't reveal a lot about what he's, personally feeling or dealing with. And he let out a lot to Hurley, I mean, before he was at Kate, but like Hurley, he's really, I was to blame for Juliet.
Are you talking when he was talking to Richards and Richards like going, and then Richard, he goes, well, Jacob told me he's right there. And then, of course, Richard being smart goes, okay, what is the island?
Oh, yeah.
Well, and then what did Hurley go? You don't want to mess with me, dude. Because Richard's upset that he blew up the Black Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another explosion.
Yes. And a big one. I think it would have been bigger though.
Yeah.
I don't know how much dynamite was left.
I mean, enough to set off the other dynamite. I just felt like there was a ton of dynamite there all the time that would have blown up randomly at some other point anyway.
And Rousseau has been like using it for years, and she's perfectly capable with it. And now it's just like back to back.
Did the dynamite
explosions?
Did the dynamite come across on the Black Rock?
I think so.
And with it shaking around and landing in the middle of the jungle, it never once blew up.
Yes, that's the answer.
That's what happened. Yeah.
I
Next,
don't know why you question it. I mean, yeah.
I did want to point out a cameo.
It's like the Virgin Mary statues. That's what they were trying to say when Locke saw it overhead. They tumbled out.
I wanted to point out a cameo. We have Sam Levine from Freaks and Geeks serving Hugo at the restaurant.
Oh, yeah. That's who he was. Yes.
Yeah.
Because Hugo needs a bucket.
Man, sometimes you need a bucket. I just have confidence, but sometimes you need a bucket.
Were we surprised at all that Miles didn't go with Hurley after them becoming so close?
He apologized, right?
You know, later or whatever.
Well, he only went after who went first.
Yeah, Richard was like, "Come with me," and Ben was like, "I know where it's at. Come on." And then Miles was like, "Sorry."
Yeah.
And then he asked him. He was like, "Why?" And there's another beautiful line where Hurley says, "Dead people are more reliable than the living." And I thought that was very interesting. Here he has a lot of dead people talking to him, speaking the truth, whether they are now enlightened or not, or just using their past experiences and can see them fully. Or, you have that contrasted with the people who are lying to him around him on the island.
Well, you mentioned the bucket of chicken, Ethan, and that's where Desmond sees Hurley.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, weren't you on flight 815 and all that different stuff? And his pickup order is number 42. Was that the last time we hear the numbers being referenced?
Desmond Hurley told Desmond that the luggage was on carousel 4.
Yeah, but that was that after to get the chicken.
Oh, it was after the chicken. Oh, sorry. Well, that was a number.
I even wrote down. I put carousel 4 because that was one of the numbers. Because I thought that would be the last one. But I don't know if that was the last time we hear.
I'm sure it's not. I'm sure it'll come up again.
Which not like specific the number 42?
Yeah, I'm saying where they don't say here's 4.
They do. Well, in the finale, Jack's like, "Where do I know you from?" And Kate says flight 815. So it's said there, at least. She may be the last person to say any of the numbers.
All right. Well, I'll let it go at this point.
Right.
But we had Saeed returns to camp, and he doesn't return to camp alone. And poor Josh Holloway, he's got the same expression on the last 10 episodes.
Yeah, it's like,
I'm not doing it justice, but he's got that. Where have you been?
Where have you been? You want to tell us? You want to tell me something? Like, no.
Because I feel nothing.
You gotta love the way. My favorite line in the whole thing is, "Oh, you're John Locke." Like, do you know who I am? You're John Locke. It's like, yeah, I know who you are, but I'm not going to tell you I know who you are, really.
Well, let's do the whole thing here with Desmond and Man in Black. They're walking. They go to the well, and now does he throw him? Why does he throw Desmond into the well? Because Desmond's not afraid of him, or
take him off the board.
Yeah, take him off the board. But does he know? Because Desmond told Man in Black everything that happened to him. Yeah, they put me in this box. They put me. I got some powers. Did Man in Black know that he couldn't defeat him? Was that what it was?
I think Desmond's a very powerful piece of everything. And, I don't know about the just killing him would even, work, or if it's against the rules that you can't kill someone that's that special. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
But it was baffling, and Desmond did actually see the young Man in Black.
Yeah.
He actually saw it with his eyes. Which maybe if you can see the other people, that maybe you can't be killed. I was thinking that too.
Well, that was younger Jacob, wasn't it?
It was one of the two. Was it younger Jacob?
I think it's younger Jacob, yeah.
Okay. But if he could actually see him.
There was someone else that I thought Sawyer saw him once too.
Did it?
Yeah.
Good or not? Okay.
I was just wondering, though, you mentioned that Desmond's a very special character. I just wonder, Jacob, touches the candidates or whatever. Because at first when you said, why did he put Desmond down the well or whatever, I was like, well, he was a candidate, so he probably couldn't kill him. But then I started thinking about how I wonder if, in the incident they specifically show, I mean, this could be a theory, I don't know. They do not show Jacob touching Juliet. And I just wonder if maybe Desmond and Juliet are the people who maybe the Man in Black and Jacob are not able to directly affect, that they have to work the pieces around them. Widmore has to get Desmond to the island. Ben via Richard has to get Juliet to the island. Neither one of them have this clear, it's all, they're not directly affected, but the people all around them are,
Right.
So I think I just kind of connected that. I think that's interesting.
What
do you think?
That sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Because if he had his choice, he would have killed him right then and there. Obviously, he couldn't for some reason, or he thought throwing him in the well would kill him. By the way, with the well, I got heavy leftovers vibes, but that's all I'll say about that.
Yeah.
A question I just was thinking at now, the rule, they always say you can't kill a candidate because those are the rules. Now, are these just simple rules that Man in Black is following, saying, okay, yeah, because remember, it's Jacob's game and it's his rules. Now, is this something that he set up? Okay, you can't kill this guy because he's a candidate. Is he obeying the rules, or is he just, as the island, as Jacob has Jacob's power, is not allowing Man in Black to kill those people?
I think that Jacob. I think it's Jacob.
Okay.
I think it's Jacob's rules. I think the island has possibly can cure cancer, special healing abilities. Yeah, I think. I mean, right.
Right. But I'm just wondering, because it's just like, okay, you can kill this person, but he can't kill a candidate because, and who made the candidate? Maybe after they've been touched by Jacob, it means that Man in Black can't kill them.
This is really like playing a game of Monopoly with my 8-year-old, because he's just making up the rules. It goes along no matter what happens. It's like the Mandalorian. You can show your face or you can't show your mask. Which is it? The rules just change as we go.
Well, he's not supposed to show his face,
but he does it for Grogu. So.
Right, but he said no. But if you guys watched last week's, you guys watched the week?
Yeah, but I don't know how many people watching this have watched it yet.
It's not a spoiler. Quick question. Bill Burr made the very good point. He said, "You said last time you can't take your mask off, but now the rule is you can't show your face. Which is it?" Which are two different rules.
Well, if you're taking your mask off, you're showing your face.
Not always.
Not always. If no one's there to see you take your mask off, you can put a bandana on your face.
Yeah.
Because when you remove the mask, there's another mask and another and a bandana and some sunglasses.
Right. Sorry about that, but I'm just saying it's an example of whether the writers are doing it because there's things they have to get through, or if it's
we're beating a dead horse. That's the answer.
Or if Jacob is a baby and makes up the rules as he goes along because Jacob's a baby.
Well, remember, Across the Sea, he does. A young Man in Black tells Jacob, "Someday you can have a game. You make the rules." So that's what's going on here.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I just
listen. This is your 8th rewatch. Of course, we're beating a dead horse.
Let's see.
Desmond does say, "What is the point in being afraid?" And that's another line I love. When the Man in Black was like, "Why aren't you afraid?" Well, I mean, I'm being all like menacing and evil. Why aren't you afraid of me? And Desmond's like, "What's the point in being?" And I'm like, "Oh, what a good line." And that's
when Man in Black gets that angry look on his face that,
Yes.
that John Locke never got.
The Terry O'Quinn, yeah.
He's
really unsettled by the fact that this guy's not afraid, and everyone else is really afraid of this guy. He's just like,
I know we beat a dead horse with Terry O'Quinn's acting, but again, he for him to have that look, and you're like going, he'd have frustration as John Locke, but he didn't have that look like I'm going to kill you, John. And to me, it's just like you start to, even though you know it's the same actor, he is playing a completely different character and has been since season 5.
And it's ridiculously awesome. He's
great
at it.
He's just an incredible actor.
There was a foreshadowing scene in the whale scene also, when he said, that compass needles spun at points like the whale location, but digging did not give answers.
Right.
And I wrote, sometimes there aren't any answers. And then I was like, parentheses, the leftovers and dealing with grief of the unexplainable.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And then we have Olivia and Hurley have their picnic. And he takes her to a beach it's supposed to be Santa Monica. Where's the that's not Santa.
Let's talk about the crookedness of this doctor.
Alameda.
Can we talk about the crookedness of this doctor?
Oh, I forgot about the crooked doc. Go ahead.
Just like, grease the wheels. We'll get you in there to see a person that's potentially harmful to you or other people. Just give us some money. It's fine.
It's $100,000.
I mean, hey, what's that? What's that with your Hippocratic oath? Absolutely nothing. All right, let's go. That's all.
The money isn't real in the flip side. Money doesn't work there.
If he would have offered like $50, the doctor's going to say no. But $100,000, you're building was he
enough to at least get a new couple Connect 4 sets for the room.
Yeah. The worst part, the problem is he's probably not going to keep it for himself because Hurley wrote it in a check form. That's a paper trail. I said, no, I need cash.
Yeah.
What if Hurley? What if Hurley was like, I'm going to give you $100,000 and I need you to make the biggest Connect 4 game?
Yeah, right.
Doesn't Man in Black in a video?
I don't know if it's what was that? College Humor or something. I don't know if it was
something like that.
A little funny short.
Anyway, I just said, if the doctors, so maybe he was going to build a new basketball court and Rec Rubens for $100,000. If he's doing it for the right reasons, right?
I mean, everybody needs a good mental institution in purgatory.
Yeah. But they go on their picnic. It's supposed to be somewhere in Los Angeles County, and it's definitely not. I mean, you can clearly see it's Hawaii, but I'm not going to nitpick. There was a time where they were driving around too, and Desmond was driving around. It might have been where he was driving Charlie around. I go, clearly, that's Hawaii. I mean, I know they're doing the best they can to make it look like California, but Hawaii just has that look. I mean, it's too hard. I mean, the air is clean. There's too much going on there. But they kiss, and Hurley remembers.
She said, this feels off. It feels like a date we've never had. And I'm like,
right.
Oh, you're making me cry, Libby. Stop it. I love you.
Hurley said, I remember the blankets this time. Right? He said
I know. That. I mean, this is a very emotional episode, and it has so much good dialogue.
It was a very good, but like I said, you get and then Desmond he's done his job, so he drives away. And then Hurley decides, we're going to go talk to Man in Black. And I go, wow. And that's where you guys said, Jack said, okay, I'm with you. Let's go. And so they go talk. It was him, Lupita's son. And now, again, the week before, his son runs from Man in Black, hits her head. Man in Black doesn't take the unconscious son back with her, because he says, I don't do things against I don't, it's your choice. I don't do things. But why was she so willing to go this time to Man in Black?
I mean, why was she so willing to go back in season 4 when Juliet, once again coming full circle here, when Juliet revealed the affair to Jen? Why was Sun wanting to go? I mean, it's like, this is a dangerous man, and that was in Locke form. But I mean, I don't know.
I think her and Jin can just feel the presence of each other, and they think any move will get them closer to the person. That's what I think. I think that
that's a nice thought.
I think they're both going to die. Spoiler alert.
No, one's going to be killed, and one's going to kill himself, leaving an infant orphan daughter.
Yeah, true. Very true.
Jesus, Ethan.
No, nobody just Ethan these days.
I just realized y'all both have. Well, I knew Jack was the lost name, but I just realized Ethan is the lost name. There's no Caleb in Lost. That's sad. Oh well. Okay.
Well, you added Lost to it, so
yeah.
But I like Hurley goes and he goes.
Not biblical enough, Caleb.
Yeah.
Mine isn't.
Right.
You want to talk about biblical names?
I do like it. Hurley goes, I need some guarantees, dude, that you won't harm anybody. And he gives him the knife. Now, if a Man in Black can't harm any of them, other than Lapidus, because Lapidus is not a candidate, right?
Right.
He doesn't need the knife to kill them. I mean, to kill them.
No.
Yeah. But
yeah,
I
he
do
doesn't
like,
need the knife.
but Jack sees Kate and like, oh my God, not this again. But overall, anything else in this episode we want to talk about?
It's got 2 endings, which is mildly annoying. It gives you a little Lord of the Rings action because it could have ended on that. It could have ended on Jack's face,
Right.
but then it ended with Desmond running over Locke.
I forgot. I forgot all about that. I wrote that down. Forgot to talk about it. Yeah.
That's what happens. Desmond runs over Locke. And Ben Linus is doing the thing that good teachers should do, going up and saying, "Hey, are you a pedo? Could you leave?"
Yeah. What are you doing here with your kid? What's your kid's name?
He's actually, you're like, Ben is, Ben should be doing that. Ben should be doing that.
A good retail uplifting aspect. You had to give good customer service; they're less likely to steal. If you ask the pedo why they're there, can you just not be here? And
so at this point, Desmond knows 100% what's going on because he says his son's name is Charlie.
Yeah, I think Desmond knows 100% what's going on at this point.
And he tries to run over Locke just to have him meet.
You know what? I bet Desmond gets fully awakened at Switzer and Melrose.
What?
Where he meets Penny.
Yeah, that's what I think happens when he faints. He hits the ground.
Yeah.
No. When he goes for the coffee later.
Oh, when he goes for the coffee.
I think that's when, because we don't see like a typical Flash. We already established that the Desmond episode was a little different, which they always all are. But I think that the Flash, like a Hurley and Libby, Flash, Sun and Jen Flash, I think there was like a nice awakening moment.
You think
because coffee shop
when he asked George for the manifest, that was before the date at the coffee shop. Do you think because he was running into people that he was on the flight with, Hurley, Charlie, Jack, there was all these people that he was running into, so he was thinking, okay, this has to be more than just a coincidence, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if he ran into anybody. Oh, Claire. He ran into Claire also.
Yes.
At the airport. So, that was at the airport. That was stupid. But anyway, so but he was running into people. So it's like, if you run into 3 people you randomly see that you're on a plane with, that would be, that would send up red flags with me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree, Caleb. That sounds good. There, we answered it.
All right.
And I think it takes pure joy. I know it's next week. Just takes pure joy in beating the crap out of Sideways Ben. I think it's like next week.
Desmond does.
Yeah.
It's actually going to be in January sometime, but that's okay.
Oh. Okay.
Taking the next 2 weeks off for the holidays. Happy
okay.
holidays, happy holidays. My wife's been listening to holiday music for the last, and plus we had our grandkids over, and it's like they play the same. Alexa plays like the same 10 songs.
Oh, that's great.
A Dolly Parton Christmas.
'Tis the season to be Dolly.
Oh, who doesn't like Dolly Parton? She's just like,
I will fight someone if they tell me they don't. I will go. We can fight right now.
She's one of those people. I know we're getting off topic here, but if you met her and she was like mean, you'd be like, no, you've just ruined life for me.
I don't think she does that. I think if she's having a day like that, she doesn't go out or do anything. I don't think she does.
I've never heard anything bad about her. Anyway,
not a bad thing.
Are we done with these two? Have we talked enough? Have we opened up enough questions? Answered enough questions out there?
I just have two things.
Okay.
I wanted to say that Jack says ever since he got Juliet killed, I know he mentioned this, all he wanted to do was to fix it. But he knows he can't ever fix it. And as hard as it is to let other people lead, he
needs to let go.
He's thinking maybe the point is for him to let go. Yeah. So we're starting to see him really break it down there.
So after 100 people or 200 people died by his leadership, he finally said, I'm not good at this.
It took Juliet to turn it around. Yeah. I'm telling you, she's the puzzle piece.
It didn't take Juliet. It took Sawyer beating the crap out of him.
And no, he still
feelings.
What?
He didn't really care about Juliet that much. Let's face it. He just didn't want Sawyer to be mad at him.
He was just using Juliet back at Kate.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, so the other thing who do we think can't move on and is stuck on the island as a whisper? Who do you think?
That we've seen?
That we know of, yeah. Tom Friendly, was he seen in the Flash Sideways? Are we to assume if they weren't in the Flash Sideways, they must be a whisper? Or they cannot get to Flash Sideways until after being...
Why would Tom Friendly be there and not Ben? That just would... I mean, I was going to say Kimi. Yeah. Kimi deserves to be there.
See, he shows up in that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, but here's the thing. No, whispers happen way before you enter this place. This place is way in the future after everyone's dead. So you could be a whisper for 50 years on that island, and they release you, and then you go into the purgatory because the purgatory.
True. Yeah. Right.
Time.
Right.
So it has nothing to. The way they lay that out is, you could have died here, you could have died there, you could have died in 100 years, you could have died.
Right. So Michael's
here
in the Flash Sideways.
So Michael's on this. So say Kimi is a whisper. So Michael and Kimi are at the same level of bad.
I don't think it's a level of bad. It's a level of not being able to let go. Like Kimi could have just been an asshole, but he was really okay with it, so he was able to let go.
Okay. So if you just want to be a jerk in life, as long as you go, hey, doesn't bother. I sleep at night. Doesn't bother me. Nikki and Paulo, David says.
You have to have a conscience to be a whisper,
I think he was making a joke, David, but I think you're right. I think Nikki and Paulo, they weren't nice people.
What'd he say?
He said, Nikki, who's a ghost? Nikki and Paulo. Or they're the whispers.
Oh.
I just feel like you have to have a conscience to be a whisperer, and I don't know if they had conscience. That's what I think, anyway.
Okay.
IMHO, in my humble opinion.
Okay. Well, I'll go with you. I don't know. Because they never really said who else was a whisper, right? We only know one confirmation is Michael, right? Is there anybody else that was confirmed as a whisper?
No, that's why they shouldn't have done that.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, is it a whisper or was it like Jacob or the Man in Black? Because wasn't Richard's wife a quote unquote whisper, but actually the Man in Black?
I think Man in Black manifested her.
But I mean, the smoke monster can imitate the whispers, I guess. But like they went out of their way to tell us that whispers are those who can't, let go or whatever.
Because I'm trying to think back to the Lost when it was on. I don't think people were clamoring to go. What are? I know some people wanted to know, but I'm like with you, Caleb, and I think if they just would have said, it's the people who have died on the island that can't move on. That's all they had to say. They didn't have to bring Michael back. Michael could have just been a ghost that Hurley sees.
Yeah, it really reeks of I guess Caleb calls it fan service. I mean, it's just like, Michael was in the first season. Let's get him in the last season, even if it's for a second.
Right.
Yeah, and it could have all been answered just, when Jack and Locke have their sit down and he's like, all right, so ask me what you want. I mean, he could have, why did you take me to my dad's coffin so you could find water? Jack could have been like, what are the whispers? It could have been like a 2-second scene done, but then they took up all this time with doing it. Other than that, I think the episode's like perfection. But yeah, it's just a little too side quest,
And again, it comes down to that where people go, okay, why is Michael there? Why is he stuck there? I mean, obviously what he did was terrible, but there's a long list of terribles.
Oh, and the other thing is Hurley talks to dead people all the time, all kinds of dead people, not just dead people that are on the island.
Right.
He talks to anybody that died. It could have been Anna Lucia because she's talked to him enough on both sides. You know what I mean? He plays.
Well, again, if you want to have Harold Perrineau back on the show, he could have just been a ghost talking to Hurley.
Right.
And I get it was a pretty. Again, when you realize that's the first time that Hurley has spoken to Michael since he killed Libby and Anna Lucia, that it was an emotional scene because it was an emotional scene when he's putting the flower, was it a lily, whatever kind of flower it was, on her grave, replacing the old beat up one that never blew away. All those years, but he put the fresh one there.
They never storms or anything.
No, there's no strong storms in tropical islands.
Yeah,
Oh, you got me there. Yeah. Never blew away. Not once.
Never blew away. Because,
these episodes are a real kind of like bright spot in, when they wrap up someone, in a really good way. If they give you another good Desmond episode, or they give you like another Hurley episode where he gets to see Libby and kiss her again, you know what I mean? And have this connection they didn't get to have. I mean, it's a real bright spot in what is otherwise a questionable season, I think, of Lost.
Yeah, this is how you use the flash sideways for good.
Yeah.
Good usage of the flash sideways in these.
Yeah. Again, I said the problem with season 6 also is it was following season 5, which was so damn good.
Yeah.
And like Caleb has said before, it's really like the best finale of season 5 is the best finale of the show, only to come back to, the underwater thing. Anyway.
Anything else you guys want to talk about on these 2 episodes?
Yeah, I want to talk about Snake Charmer things real quick. You should check out the movie Them That Follow.
Okay.
And there was a whole like season of Justified that had to do with this too, I think. But
really,
what season?
At the beginning of one, Boyd Crowder
finds religion,
went into a church, and the pastor did that thing with the snakes. And
that's right.
But this actually has Walton Goggins in it.
Oh, does it?
Them That Follow, and he plays the head priest guy with the snakes, and also Olivia Colman, if I remember, is in it.
Okay.
And the name drop, first time I've ever said this out loud, so I might get in trouble with my family. But my cousin Lewis Pullman is in it too.
Oh, really?
Oh, okay.
Distant cousin. We don't talk that much. We see each other every 5 years or so, but still, we're related. And he's in the movie, so you should go see it.
Why would you get in trouble?
I don't know. I just never bring that stuff up out loud. He's also in Top Gun 2 when they decide to release that.
Someday.
Well, if you watch the HBO documentary, it's really crazy.
What's it called again?
Alabama Snake.
Alabama. As it many parts. I've been going really headfirst in these cult documentaries lately because I love them.
Well, then you need to do this one because I would have been 2 at the time, but this would have been like.
Is it multi-part or just one? Like
it would have been like 10, 15 minutes from my house.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean, they mentioned my hometown in The Wire, but besides that,
do what?
They mentioned my hometown in The Wire.
Oh.
Episode.
Well,
4.
they don't mention like my hometown, but Sand Mountain is like a North Alabama, and it has a lot of like smaller cities like Rosalie and Otter and Skyline and Flat Rock and Pisgah and all that and things like that. And that's where this took place, as well as Scottsboro, which is like in between the mountains. That's where I went to high school. And that's where this kind of took place. And they have they interview the ambulance people because, it happened in 91. So a lot of those people are still, alive. So.
Do you watch those other things like The Vow or what I just watched, the Cult of Cults, the
Baby God?
No.
Baby God and the one you just said, The Vow and Murder on Middle Beach or something. And those are in our watch list, but I haven't seen it.
And on HBO Max, the new one about the Heaven's Gate.
No, I haven't seen that yet.
And Holy Hell is my favorite cult documentary. Y'all should check it out.
Holy Hell.
Holy Hell. It's about the Buddha field.
This one is less about like the cult and why it explains why they handle snakes, but everybody kind of knows that already. So it's more about like this crime that happened because the snake was the murder weapon, and it's just really messed up.
When you said Alabama Snake, I assumed it was a Nick Saban story. I'm sorry.
Now I did see
he's the football coach. I don't.
Head coach of Alabama.
We're the only people in Alabama that doesn't watch football.
What's that awesome one? Black Snake Moan. That's not a documentary. But it is much like Gia, which we mentioned earlier, and I love it.
Oh. If you go to IMDb and look up Alabama Snake, the poster for it, I'm like, whoever designed this poster is like amazing because it's like a guy like in the river, and then his shadow is like turns into a snake, and it's just like being baptized in the water, and then about snake and religion. I'm like, God, it's a really cool poster.
It's not Kevin Garvey's sweatpants.
No, but those sure are nice.
So Jack, do we still? I'll put you on the spot, buddy. Do we still have a plan after Lost to do the leftovers? That's still your plan.
I think it's probably gonna be February.
But that's still your plan, though, right? And
that yeah.
Mondays. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, because I have literally been like,
I see you're watching it.
No, I watch it. I've watched one episode here or there, and then I'm feeding my addiction with reaction videos. So I'm not watching.
Oh my God, I want to leftover reaction videos. What?
I'll DM you the best ones.
Yes.
Okay.
I purposely haven't watched anything from the leftovers because I knew we were doing the rewatch. I
didn't think I was going to have to, but I guess for some reason it makes me feel warm and fuzzy around Christmas time. I had to watch a couple, but I didn't watch the whole thing by any means.
I've been redoing the West Wing and
where are you in the West Wing?
Season 4.
Okay.
They really do a good job of setting up Sam's departure like right away.
They thought about it for a while, and they bring Will Bailey in right away. And
yeah, I mean they really, but the whole season 4, when you know what's going to happen, you can see that okay, they're really setting it up. It wasn't like out of where a show would go, all right, he's gone, I'm leaving.
Yeah, and they take a while, and they actually have him stretch it out, and there's one with him at the end. It's I like it, and they have that whole arc with like the fake Rwanda stuff, and yeah,
they do. But that's all I got. But a Lost Rewatch. I'm not Lost Rewatch. Leftovers. Maybe we'll start with L. Leftovers Rewatch in February sometime.
Okay.
Once Lost is over.
I did talk to those bald move gentlemen, and one of them I think really wants to come on one day real bad. You're his hero, and he would love to podcast with you about an episode of The Leftovers. So I'll talk to you about that.
Well, we can arrange that. I'm someone's hero. That's pretty sad.
Well,
but no, whoever wants, I'm cool with it. I don't care.
Right on.
If you can get Dolly Parton to come on there and talk about it, I'd be happy with that.
Know her.
You don't know her.
Personally. I did
want to talk about some like deep, Appalachian mountains.
Yeah.
You talk about Dolly Parton. I'm in those mountains.
I did watch her Christmas movie with Danica McKellar, which was just made my head explode because it's Winnie Cooper, it's Dolly Parton. I'm going crazy.
Did you watch the Heartstrings last year?
It was at
Dolly
the
Parton's
like
Heartstrings. They were like six episodes, but like they didn't have anything to do with each other.
I didn't.
Oh, they're so good.
Okay,
oh my god.
I see the dumpling one, and I want to see the one. I requested her book for Hanukkah, so maybe I'll get it.
I will have to send you the title of the one that you have to watch.
If there's one I have to watch, send it to me. I can't watch. I can't watch 6 of those.
Okay, no, not all of them are like that great. One of them, she has like a lot of gay representation in one of them, and I'm like really impressed by that because she didn't have to do that. But anyway, it's not that one. It's this other one that's like really cool.
Well, speaking of gay representation, I just rewatched Cruising, and I think everyone should.
Cruising,
the Al Pacino movie from 1980.
Mm-hmm.
Jack, right up your alley, buddy.
I think I saw that.
Yeah,
sounds familiar.
Yeah,
there's this YouTuber. I think his name's James Somerton, and he does like these video essays about like gay cinema, the history, and I went to school. I have a degree in film and digital media production. And, I love his videos. They are like extremely well made. And, he really shows, a lot. This year, there was like 4 gay movies like on, Hulu and, Hallmark and Lifetime and somewhere else, Paramount or something, and I was like, that's the most that I've ever heard of there ever being during a holiday. So
my wife just watched Uncle Frank.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, I forgot about that one. Yeah, we haven't actually watched that one yet, but my family did, and they said it was really good.
Yeah,
the one on Amazon, Uncle Frank.
Yeah, I was actually watching The West Wing and Uncle Frank at the same time. I had my head down. What happened? She was getting mad. I go, so why don't you just watch? I go, well, you already started without me.
Yeah, man, you gotta catch it at the right time. If she's watching something and if I miss some of it, I'm like, all right, I'll catch you on the next one.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? That's it for me, guys.
Anyway,
thank you.
What?
This was fun. Thank you.
It was fun.
Absolutely.
And we still have 2 people listening, so that's
awesome.
Lost for about 10 minutes.
But I was gonna
go ahead.
I was going to say, Jack, earlier you were like, oh, I'm not a hero, but, I really do appreciate you doing this and continuing to do it, during the pandemic, because I'm sure you've got a lot going on, and as we all do, but it's really nice to take time and, relax and talk about this. And I really appreciate you doing that, because I think it means more to people than you really know. So
it means a lot to me that people are willing to come on here and talk about loss. So that's...
all these years later, it's great.
Yeah, it just like I said, I started. I didn't know it was going to take this long. To be honest with you, I was like done. But once we get going, because then it's quite like today. This wasn't a lot of the stuff wasn't planned. We were talking about. It's just like one person has this, and that's the beauty of this show is you start thinking, this could have been this happened. This like we're talking about the Whispers. Why didn't they just? If we can figure it out. And like the writers of Lost and were so brilliant. I'm not just saying that, but they were. Like I said, the whole where George literally looks at his hand, see there's no ring there. And I mean, but why would the Whispers, like, again, it didn't have to be I mean, I don't think anyone to this day, if they didn't answer the whispers, would be going, "Oh, they should have answered the whispers. I hate this show." If you're that upset about the whispers, then you just missed the whole point of the show.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just looking at the list here, and you got 3 episodes of the Lost Rewatch left, depending on how you do it.
Well, the final is 3 episodes. I think there's going to be 4 more weeks.
Okay.
I'll explain that later on. But I think I'm coming down to. I think it was Karen suggested doing something for charity, and I think after it's all done, I want to have everyone back that wants to come on, and we can raise money for some charity or something like that. And not that I don't know if it would make a lot or not, but and then everyone can give their thoughts on the entire series of Lost, and just do that for like 6 hours, 7 hours, whatever it is, and then
like a live stream, marathon stream.
Yeah. It's like what Jay and I used to do when we did the Autism Speaks thing. We got up to 30 hours and realized that was just insane. Yeah. Literally, I'd be talking to people like this. My head's on the microphone because I'm so tired. But
you got big ones, man. You got big ones. Each one's really important. So
what?
From now on, every
yeah,
is like a deep well of.
I get it with Desmond.
Yeah.
That episode of Dolly Parton is called Sugar Hill.
Sugar Hill.
Sugar Hill.
Okay.
I'm Dolly Parton. I can't do her voice.
Melissa Sotomayor. I don't want to.
On SNL.
She's the best. She's my favorite person on there. She did Dolly Parton last night.
Yes. Yeah.
Kill it.
Yeah, she did.
She's one of the impressions, right?
Huh?
What?
All the impressions.
There's like they all do all that.
They all do.
There's one that on there that does. That's what she does. Is just impressive.
You might be saying McKinnon. I don't know, but yeah, no, she does like the really good.
No, not Kate McKinnon. No.
She does the the teenage girl.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I know who you're talking about.
You know, like, do you have a crush on me, Michael? You know, that one.
Checking her Instagram or whatever she's got.
Yeah. But she does like other. No. She's not the one who did Dolly Parton. The one who did Dolly Parton. She's the one. Yeah, she's great.
Yeah. Anyway, check it out. SNL.
Yeah.
Weekend update.
I will do that. I've been watching old SNLs on YouTube for like the last month. I just like Eddie Murphy.
There's old Siskel and Ebert reviews on YouTube.
The what?
There's old Siskel and Ebert reviews on YouTube.
Are there?
I just found that out. You should watch those too.
I will go back and watch Siskel and Ebert. Every foreign film was.
Yeah.
They never gave a thumbs down because mainly they only reviewed ones they liked. I mean, that was my theory because every foreign film was.
Yeah, at some point they're kind of like snobby movie critics that'll.
Yeah, and they were fun because they really didn't like each other when they first got together.
Yeah, they don't like stuff like The Last Dragon. Come on. Anyway.
Yeah. Right. Anyway, we'll be back with the Lost Rewatch sometime in January. Enjoy the holidays. Be safe. Be safe during this pandemic. I mean, we're not to the end. I mean, it's still going to be a while, but we're getting closer. So we want you guys around to the end. So that's all I got. Anything else, guys?
Nope.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you, sir.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.